Kings, Grand National Championships, and Pull Town, USA. What can make a better trio? Hello, everybody. Dom Santina here with NTPA Recap, episode number 6. John Dunlap, unfortunately, not with us this week. Hopefully, next week we'll have him back, as I will be recapping all the action by myself this week from Pull Town, USA. And we're going to go session by session, starting with session number 1 on Thursday night and wrapping up with session number 5 that concluded Saturday evening. To get us started, some of you might have seen this, but I have started to do what we're going to start to call NTPA Walk Through the Pits, where I'm going to give you updates before each session about what you can expect to see on the track, what time the pull starts, and any event information that you might need. So I've been trying to do these. Unfortunately, with where we've been and just timing and Wi-Fi issues, I haven't been able to get them up sometimes on time. So I thought, why not start putting them here in the videos, and it'll work perfectly for this one because we're going to go session by session. So here we go. Let's send it to the first NTPA Walk Through the Pits recap from this weekend that'll tell you about session number 1.
Hello everybody, Dom Santina here with NTPA Championship Pulling, and we have arrived in Pull Town, USA for the National Tractor Pulling Championships. Session number 1 getting ready to go tonight. 7:30 is the pull time. Pits are packed, grandstands are going to be packed. It's going to be a good night here in Bowling Green, Ohio. 5 classes on tap for you here tonight. You have the 4-wheel drive trucks, the 2-wheel drive trucks, light unlimiteds, the unlimiteds, and light super stock tractors. So 5 classes, 7:30 pull time.
In session number 1, we're going to start with our light unlimited class, and it was Keith Wason Sr. who would help himself out in the championship by tying Steve Bollinger at the top with a 339.415 foot pass to take the win. To run out the class, it would be Doug Theobald in full-blown wicked in second place with a 331.8. Third would be Steve Bollinger, your points leader coming in on the night, now tied heading into their final round of competition in Bowling Green with a 326.87 in the third spot, rounding out the podium. Todd Feist and Snow Farmer would finish in 4th, and Kevin Dick and Thumper with a 253.38 to round out your top 5. Another class going on, and man, was an exciting one to watch, was the Unlimiteds. And it would be Chuck Knapp who would set the tone in the class, as he would have a pass over 350 feet, which would be the first of 3 that would enter a pull-off on the night, the first of the season. Knapp again would have a pass of 336 feet to take the win in the opening night. Joe Eder and Polar Air would finish second in the pull-off with a 336.38 feet pass, just behind Chuck Knapp. And it would be Greg Boyd in Green Streak coming across in third, the third place finisher of the pull-off with a 207-foot pass. Grayson Shelton would finish in 4th with Ruckus, and in 5th would be Ricky Rose and Giddy Up, rounding out the class in the Unlimiteds in night number 1. Moving on to our light super stock, it would be Josh Blackburn, who would hold on for the final 2 hooks to lock up an early win with the season with a distance of 344 feet on the tractor Deadly Force. Terry Blackburn, driving considered armed and dangerous, would come in just 3 feet behind in second place. And Jordan Spiegelberg would have one of his detonator tractors on the podium. It would be Detonator Black with 338. He would also finish in 4th place with his Detonator Red tractor. And Mark Hootman and Hooter Scooter would round out the top 5 in the class. Then we would turn to the trucks in session number 1, and we'd have our 4-wheel drives, and who's hotter right now than Jake Ziering? And he would not be afraid of the Bowling Green track or pressure, as he would take the new points-leading truck, Fatheads Eyewear, to the top of the charts early in the weekend. He would win session number 1, and Ben Ellis in Benjamin would finish in 2nd with 339.170 as his distance. Peyton Davis and Punisher would round out the podium in 3rd. Tyler Cobb's Bandit would finish in 4th, just a near 0.3 of a foot behind Peyton Davis. And Carmen Foster and the Foster Child would round out the podium. All of them going 338.335 for Foster and 0.345 for Tyler Cobb. That tells you the difference between 4th and 5th. Between 3rd and 5th was a total of 0.3. So really close between those three for third, fourth, and fifth in round number 1. To round out the session, it would be the two-wheel drives. Ralph Hunt and the Yellow Thunder would hold an edge over 3/4 of the class, as he would hold off 30 competitors out of the 40-plus hooks to take on the BG track. Coming across in second would be Clay Chastain and Fistful of Dollars. Coming across in third would be RJ Simon and Simon Says Chevy, his truck. Coming in just behind Clay Chastain as well. As close as it was in the 4-wheel drive class, it was in the 2-wheel drive class as well. Donnie Sullivan in Sawmill Express comes across in fourth, and Jared Nelson in Sweet Revenge would finish in fifth, just 2 feet behind third and fourth place. That would wrap up the first day of action in Bowling Green, Friday, August 20th. We would have 2 sessions on the track once again. And once again, we're going to take you back to my NTPA walk through the pits to get you set for our recap action here in session number 2.
Good morning, Full Town. Dom Santina here with NTPA Championship Pulling. Getting ready to go with session number 2, which will start at noon. And we just wrapped up the drivers meeting. We had 106 hooks scheduled to take place here in session number 2. We're going to have 2 classes on the north side track. That'll be your 4-wheel drives, which we saw last night, and your super stock diesel tractors. That will give us 52 between those 2 classes. And then on the south side, we're going to have the light unlimiteds, which make their second appearance. We saw them last night as well. Super Farm and your super stock diesel 4x4 trucks. So 3 classes for a total of 54 hooks on the south side.
All right, in session number 2, we're going to start with our light unlimited class, and it was literally a pull-off for a championship. Steve Bullinger would be able to edge Keith Wason Sr. to win by 9 feet in session number 2. Wason and his Super B would finish in second. Doug Theobald in Full Blown Wicked would come in the 3rd spot. Austin Berry in International Salvation in 4th. And Terry Feist in Feisty Farmer in the 5th spot, rounding out your top 5 from session number 2. The 2nd place finish in session 2 and the win in session number 1 compared to Bullinger's 3rd and 1st gave Keith Wason the coveted ring for the light unlimited class at Bowling Green. While Wason was happy to win the ring, the 2nd in session 2 gave Bullinger the NTPA Grand National Light Unlimited Championship in 2021. So congratulations to both Keith Wason on winning the National Tractor Pulling Championship ring and to Steve Bullinger on the season championship. Those 2 will each have 1 more shot at each other as they will head to Enderley on September 18th. Other pullers earning the Enderley bid will be Doug Theobald in Full Blown Wicked, finishing in the 3rd spot on the season. Jason Gibson in Young Blood, Joker's Wild was in 4th, and Mike Shaneman in Night Train will round out your list of entries there into Enderley, and we'll see them in the middle of September. Super Farm was on the track as well, and they would make their appearance in Pulltown on Friday afternoon, and Greg Freeze in Deer Tracks would hold down the top spot on his John Deere 4430, the winning distance of 36.385, just shy of another full pull. Ryan Anderson in Checking Out would come in 2nd, a full 4 feet behind Deer Tracks and Greg Freeze. Jason Benser and Plastic Money in 3rd. Brooke Ferris in 4th with Assorted Nuts. And John Silsby in the Crop Doctor would come across in 5th. Back to our 4-wheel drive trucks. They're going to wrap it up here in Bowling Green in session number 2 early on Friday morning. And it would be back-to-back sessions for them here in Pulltown. Just a short little stay. In the 38 truck field, it would allow others to challenge Deering, and it would be the test hook, John T. Davis and Young Gun, to go 336.6 to set the mark that he would hold for another 37 hooks and give him the second session win. Kevin Schools and Just Rutten came in 2nd. Ben Ellis and Benjamin in 3rd. Peyton Davis and Punisher in 4th, and Rob Foster in the Simply Red rounded out your top 5. With a 2nd place finish in session number 1 and a 3rd place finish here in session number 2, Ben Ellis and Benjamin would take home the National Tractor Pulling Championship ring for the 4-wheel drive class. Congratulations, Ben. Super stock diesel 4x4 trucks were in action in session number 2 as well. And points leader and second place at the moment, Todd Dugan, coming into the weekend, had both of his trucks, the Angry Shine and Angry Farmer penetrating spray, have trouble leaving the starting line. That would allow Van Hazley to use his first hook to get the full pull distance of 353.335, while the grandstands and everyone else would eagerly await to see if there would be another pull-off. No one would be able to get there and cross that 350-foot mark, giving Van Hazley the win. Shane Kellogg and the Trump truck would come in second with 342. Justin Gearhart and Cream of the Crop would finish in third. Kent Crowder and the Shy Diesel would finish fourth. And Brian Withrow and the Nut Job 2 would round out your top 5. Now moving on to our super stock diesel tractors. Points leader Travis Schlabaugh would have his tractor fixed and ready to go Friday afternoon and put everyone on notice early. Schlabaugh would be in a pull-off with John Belfance and Chainbreaker for the first session. And John Belfance could not get his tractor to recover and come back for the pull-off, which means the 5-foot pass by Schlabaugh would win him session 1 of the super stock diesel tractors. Belfance would settle for second in the Chainbreaker. Jody Ross in triple bypass would be the first finisher outside of the pull-off to take third place at 337 feet. Kent Payne in the Super Rooster finishing a near 0.1 behind Jody Ross in fourth. And Roger Peterson in just another one would finish and round out your top 5. That would wrap up session number 2, and we would get ready for session number 3 at the National Tractor Pulling Championship. So once again, we're going to send it on over to myself for the NTPA walk through the pits to get you set for what you can expect in the upcoming recap.
Pull Town, how we doing? Dom Santina with NTPA Championship Pulling. Session 2 is now complete. We're getting ready for session number 3, which will be at 7 o'clock p.m. tonight. So we're going to have 5 classes once again in this session. You're going to have 3 on the north track, starting with your super stock open class, your minis and your semi trucks, which we're about to walk past here in just a minute. They will be on the track, and that'll be a combined 57 hooks on that side. And then on your south side will be your pro stock and your modifieds, and they're going to combine for 43. So we're going to have 100 hooks in total tonight.
All right, in session number 3, we're going to start with the mini rods, who had to wait until this third session to make their appearance at Pull Town. But it would be the young Abby Leichner and Bobcat Jr. holding the lead for 26 hooks and taking the win with a distance of 347 feet. Brian McDonald and Very Little Sanity would finish 3 feet behind in second place. Chase Richardson and the Vibrator would finish third. Austin Boyd and Green Streak Green would finish in the 4th spot. And Tyler Slaw and Have No Mercy would round out your top 5. Moving on to our full-size modifieds. They would also have to wait, as many classes would make their first-time appearance here in session number 3. But it would be the right time, as 4 pullers would cross the 350-foot full pull line. Craig Corzine and the Second Degree Burns would win the pull-off with another 353-foot pull. Also joining him in the pull-off was Brett Berg in the Moneymaker, who would finish second with a 346-foot pull. And Scott Tedder in Mr. Twister, who had a 315-foot pull in the pull-off. Not being able to participate was Jeff Rose in Giddy Up, who was broke during the full pull. So he took the 4th spot. And it was Lisa Vantage Joe Stock in Spook Gone Wild with a 341-foot pull. That was the best out of the rest, not included in the pull-off. Rounding out your top 5. Now we would bring the big trucks on the track, the super semis. Brian Elithrop would continue his hot streak, as he would take the lead midway through with a pull of 324 feet and hold on through 4 hooks for the win. Fred Sanders and Silver Bullet 2 would finish in the 2nd spot, while Rusty Bagley and Twisted Kitty would finish 3rd with 319 feet. Chris Wood and Class Act would come in 4th, and Spencer Rook and Hillbilly Deluxe would finish the top 5. Superstock Open, Josh Blackburn in the considered armed and dangerous HD Case IH MX210 was very dangerous in session 1 of the class, and he would cross a full pull mark with a distance of 358 feet. However, no one would be able to touch him or the mark, as there would only be one full pull. Colin Ross in triple bypass would only get to the distance of 325 feet, a full 33 feet behind Josh Blackbird, but that would be good enough for second place. John Strickland, and get a load of that too, would finish in the 3rd spot with 319 feet. Aaron Hall, and taking care of business, another 2 feet behind at 317 for 4. And Robert Gansmere in Rutten Deer would round out the top 5 with 314. The last class of session number 3 was the Pro Stock class, and it would be Patrick Gentry and the River Rat being able to put a winning run on the board for John Deere, as he would take his John Deere 60-30 to a distance of 343 feet, which would hold up for the last 20 hooks. A team that's been very hot of late, Julia Ray and Mac Daddy, would have a 342-foot pass to put her in second. Brandon Simon and Loud and Loaded would come in just about half a foot behind Julia Ray. And Rob Russell, the points leader, Mr. Consistent, would put himself in the top 5 with a 4th place pass at 338 feet aboard his Workhorse Pro. And yes, of course, it would be Russ Yoder, who joined us last week to join the circuit, and Extra Butter coming in the 5th spot with 333. That would set up the final day of Bowling Green action and have us hand out a ton of National Tractor Pulling Championship rings and to decide a couple more championships. On Saturday action, we had session 4 kickoff at noon. Once again, back to the NTPA walk through the pits to set you up for session number 4.
Hello everybody, Dom Santina with NTPA Championship Pulling, and we have arrived at the final day of the National Tractor Pulling Championships here in Polltown, USA. 2 sessions left to go here tonight. We're going to have session number 4 of the weekend kicking off at noon. We're going to have 5 classes in that one. You're going to have the modifieds and the 2-wheel drives on the north side, while the Super Stock Open, Light Super Stock, and Pro Stock on the south track. And then we will go to session number 5, the final session of the National Tractor Pulling Championships in Bowling Green. 6 classes in that one. On the north side, you will have the Diesel Super Stock tractors, the Diesel Super Stock trucks, and the Pro Stock. Meanwhile, on the south track, you're going to have the Unlimiteds, the mini rods, and the semis to conclude the weekend here. So we're going to get ready to go here this afternoon. 2 more sessions to conclude it. We've seen some great pulling action. We've seen a lot of full pulls. So we'll see if we can get one more before the weekend, or maybe a couple more before the weekend comes to an end here in Bowling Green.
Starting with our Light Super Stock class in session number 4, there would be a different color on top of the board this time, as Jason Hootman would take the Commander Ford 6000 to the top of the board with a 347-foot pass, picking up the 2nd session win for the class. Josh Blackburn and Deadly Force would finish 2nd. Daniel Northcutt and On the Edge would finish 3rd. Terry Blackburn and Considered Armed and Dangerous in 4th. And Mark Hootman and Hooter Scooter with another top 5. With a win in session 1 and a 2nd place in session number 4, Josh Blackburn would end up winning the National Tractor Pulling Championship ring in the Light Super Stock class. Congratulations, Josh, on your ring. Super Farm. Phil Kelly in his International 5488 called Red Blooded Binder barely would hold off Ryan Anderson by about a half of a foot for a win in session number 2. Ryan Anderson and his Checking Out would finish 2nd. Chris Weidinger and the JD Hog would finish 3rd. Jason Benser and Plastic Money in 4th. And Dave Whelan in My Last Excuse would round out the top 5. With 2 consistent finishes in the 2nd place position, while he did not get a win, Ryan Anderson would get the overall win for the National Tractor Pulling Championship ring in the Super Farm division. Congratulations, Ryan Anderson. In two-wheel drive, it would be Christy Seacrest in her Nothing's Easy Ford that would be able to hold off Chad Haggerty's Hillbilly Hot Rod by just under a foot for the win. Haggerty, as we mentioned, would finish second, while Danny Sullivan in Sawmill Express would finish third, 3 feet behind Haggerty. Ralph Hunt and the Yellow Thunder would finish a foot behind Sullivan at 3:17, and Evan Anderson in Playing Hooky would come in at 3:16 for fifth place. With the win in session 1, Ralph Hunt would hold off for a fourth place finish in the fourth overall session and be able to claim the National Tractor Pulling Championship ring. Congratulations, Ralph Hunt, on your two-wheel drive class championship ring. Moving on to our Superstock Open. Having to go back-to-back sessions for the Superstock Open class would work out for John Strickland, as he would get the load of that to AGCO to pick up the win in a 4-puller pull-off, as he would be the only one to make a pass. A good pass, though, with a distance of 329 feet would give him the win. Josh Blackburn in the International Threat would make a full pull, but would not be able to compete in the pull-off, along with Terry Blackburn in Extremely Armed and Dangerous and Josh Blackburn in Considered Armed and Dangerous. All would make it to the full pull mark on their original pass, but would not come back for the pull-off. Robert Gainsmere in Rutten Deer would be the first non-full pull finisher with 340 feet his total distance, good enough for a fifth place finish. Of being able to make the pass in the pull-off, it would end up winning John Strickland the National Tractor Pulling Championship ring in the Superstock Open class, with a third place finish in their first session and a win in their second. Congratulations, John Strickland, on your ring. This would also put an end to the Superstock Open season, and it would be Bob Gansmere using his fifth place finish to lock up the 2021 Superstock Open Grand National Championship. Also earning Enderley berths will be the triple bypass of Jody Ross, Colin Ross, and Lily Ross, all having shared time in the seat. The silver bullet of Jordan Lustig. The running bear of Jeff Hurt. And the Desperado is Sid Broughton, all going to be at Enderley on September 18th. So congratulations to those top 5, and congratulations to Bob Gansmere on the season championship. Continuing on in session number 4, in the mod class, it would be Brett Berg and the Moneymaker passed the mark of 350 for a full pull, but would not have to worry about a pull-off, as no one would be able to get past the distance of 344 feet, and Berg would pick up the session win. Tom Owens in the Ramblin' Rose would finish at the 344 mark for second place, while Craig Corzine in Second Degree Burn would finish 3 feet shy of that mark at 341 for third. Derek Barga and the Judge Next Generation would finish at 335 for fourth, and Jeff Rose in Giddy Up would finish at 331 for the fifth place spot. Berg would use the session to help him win the National Tractor Pulling Championship ring in the mod division, with a first place here in this session and a second place finish in the night before in session number 3. Congratulations, Brett, on the ring. That would be the final class of the noon session on Saturday, and it would set us up for the 5th and final session in Pole Town. And as we heard through the NTPA walk through the pits before session number 4, that also set us up for session number 5. So we'll jump right into it, and we're going to go to the Super Semi class, where Fred Sanders would take his Silver Bullet 2 just by Lathrop's distance by 2 feet, as Sanders would have the winning distance with 345 being his pole total. It would be Brian Lathrop's Nicky's Nightmare coming across in the second place, while Rusty Bagley would have another top 5 with the Twisted Kitty in third, just a foot behind Lathrop. And it would be Chris Wood in the 4th spot, driving the Class Act with 337 for 4th, and Pat Elan just passing through in class with 329, rounding out your top 5. With the win in session 3 and a second in session number 5, Brian Lathrop would end up winning the ring here in the Super Semi class for the National Tractor Pulling Championships. While the second place pass also won him the ring, it would win him the championship on the season as well, winning the 2021 Grand National Super Semi Championship over Ryan DeBro, who had finished 7th after having significant damage after Friday night's pull. Also earning end relay berths were the Passing with Fire Trunk driven by Ryan DeBrew, Just Passing Through in Class by Tom Elin, Keep On Trucking by Pat Elin, and Let Her Rip Tater Chip by Ben Gordon. Congratulations to all top 5, and congratulations once again to Brian Elithrop on winning the ring and the season championship. Moving on to our pro stock class, it would be Kevin Smucker and leading the way for a John Deere top 4, as he would put his John Deere 7830 Get Her Done Deere to a distance of 334 feet, winning the session. Denny A. Brown and Green with Envy would finish at 330 feet for second. Patrick Gentry and River Rat would finish third at 328 feet. And Brandon Simon rounding out the top 4 John Deere tractors with Loud and Heavy at 324. But just behind him, by a couple inches, once again, Mr. Consistent, your points leader, Rob Russell, and the Workhorse Pro Case IH in 5th place with 324.385 feet. Patrick Gentry would have 2 consistent passes to guarantee him a ring with a win in session number 3 and a third here in session number 5. Congratulations, Patrick, on your National Tractor Pulling Championship ring here in the Pro Stock Division. But no one would be able to top the performance in the mini rods, as Abby Leichner would be the only one to sweep the weekend in Pulltown, as she would take the win in session number 5 in the mini rod class. And she showed everyone how to do it with her Bobcat Jr., taking it to 347.52 feet and holding off Austin Boyd with her second win of the weekend. Boyd in the Green Street Green would finish second, just 6 feet behind Leichner, with 341 feet being his total distance. Kimberly Kwame, who's had a great couple runs this season in the well-oiled machine, would finish on the podium in third with 338. Chase Richardson in the Vibrator would finish 4th with 337 feet. And Dylan Bunnage in the Phoenix with 335 feet would finish in 5th. Abby Leichner, of course, with the 2 wins, would make it an easy decision on who would pick up the win. Congratulations, Abby, on the win. And also, can't mention, she got $10,000 richer as they spun the wheel in session number 5 to see who would be pulling for $10,000. So now she's got a little bling with the ring and $10,000 in her pocket on top of 2 Grand National wins. What a weekend for Abby Leichner. Congratulations. Moving on to the Superstock Diesel 4x4, it would be Eric Stacy, making Chevrolet fans happy on Saturday night, as he would take in the Smokin' Ya HD not only to a full pull, but to a 349.65 feet pull in the pull-off. Todd Dugan would get one of his trucks back on track, and it would be the Angry Farmer penetrating spray truck, getting the full pull early on, but coming back in the pull-off with a 341-foot pass for second. Jonathan Waskob and the Roland Cole had a full pull as well, but would finish with 334 feet in the pull-off for third place. Van Hazley and the Rock Hard Ram, your first session winner in the Superstock Diesel class, would have a full pull as well, as it would be 5 trucks in the Superstock Diesel 4x4 class that would have full pulls on the session, which means the top 5 would be decided in the pull-off. And Van Hazley's 333 feet would give him 4th place. Justin Gearhart and Cream of the Crop would have 176 feet in the pull-off to put him in the 5th spot. With the 4th place pull in the pull-off, Van Hazley would combine that with his win earlier in the weekend to claim the National Tractor Pulling Superstock Diesel 4x4 ring. Congratulations, Van Hazley, on your class ring. Moving on to the Superstock Diesel tractors. The high-tech redneck of Mike Beck would use his Case IH power to pick up the session win by 16 feet. Steve Begrave and Red Horse would finish second with 325 feet. Kent Payne in the Super Rooster would come in at 319 feet for third place. Tabitha Demirs and Smokin' Hot Deer would finish fourth with 314 feet. And Travis Slabaugh and the Bone Twister would finish fifth with 311 feet. I'm concerned that his tractor is not even going to be able to make a pass this weekend. Travis Slabaugh would use his fifth place finish and his win from the earlier session this weekend for the National Tractor Pulling Championship ring. Congratulations to the points leader, Travis Slabaugh, on the championship ring, and we'll see if he can continue his run and his dominance in the Super Snack Diesel class to a championship later on this season.
Before session 2, I was able to catch up with our unlimited winner from session number 1 on Thursday night, Chuck Knapp. I was hoping to have more time to interview more drivers throughout the weekend, but with responsibilities at the NTPA, it just was not physically possible. So I was able to catch Chuck Knapp before things started to get hectic with the 2 sessions a day schedule at Pulltown. So here's what Chuck Knapp had to say on Friday before his pull Saturday night in round 2 or session 2 of the Unlimited class in Pulltown. All right, hello everybody. Dom Santina here with NTPA Championship Pulling, and I'm with the man of the night last night in the Unlimited class, Chuck Knapp and Screamin' D. Chuck, last night tractors were kind of having trouble getting the power to the ground, but you were able to figure it out, pull at 376 feet. What did you find? What strategy did you have in that first hook?
We were watching everybody, and it was getting to be obvious that the middle of that track, about 170 to 250, if you was still building your power at that time, it was going to pull you all over the place and do not good. So we just got a little aggressive out of the hole where the track was good and got our speed up, and then coasted through that centerpiece, and then the end of the track was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't wonderful. It was issues, but it was hard to drive, but it was better than that center. So the idea was we figured just get through the center. So we kind of detuned the motor a little so we could get a little more aggressive out of the hole without blowing the tires off, and get our speed up, and it worked.
Well, you set the stage. It would turn out to be a 3-puller pull-off going over 350 feet last night. You come through, have another great pass, 330 to take the win. Was there any strategy change in that second pull, or did it just stay the same?
No, we pretty much left it alone. We were going to probably change it up, but we had some breakage we had to fix, so we were pretty close to getting back to the line. So we fixed what was broke, what we had to do, and we pretty much run the same setup. It wasn't the nearest pretty a run. It got a little bounce and a little front end got a little out of control, but nothing bad. It got down there.
And then you guys are pretty tight, you and Adam Bauer and a couple others in the points. You're the first one to 3 wins on the season in the class. How big was it to get that win last night and put yourself, you're on top of the points, but now you're also heading the tiebreaker with 3 wins?
Yeah, it was a good feeling. We had real good luck in the past with this tractor. Got some good wins, and we kind of got into a slump, and we sat home and talked about it after Fort Recovery, and we kind of went back to our old grassroots of pulling the way we had it set up originally back in 18, where it run pretty darn good. And it last night anyway, it seemed to work, going back to our original setup.
Once again, always want to thank Chuck Knapp for his availability and willingness to sit down with an interview with me. I've interviewed him twice this season, and just have to thank him for his time and effort. Even though we haven't got it up when we wanted to, still like to have it here in the recap show, and I would love to get more drivers interviewed. Just don't have the time at the moment. But I think it would be another thing that would make this recap show and help take it to another level if we could have enough time to get some of these driver interviews like with Chuck Knapp after his full pull win on Thursday night.
In the Unlimited class, after an exciting opening round in session number 1, it has been a 3-puller race all season long in the Unlimited class between Chuck Knapp, Adam Bauer, and Joe Etter. But it would be Dave Richardson in the 5th and final session, session 2 for the Unlimited class, and the foursome pulling out the win over Steve Bollinger's Money Pit by 15 feet. Bollinger would settle in second with 347 feet, and Joe Etter and Polar Air would have a pull of 329 feet to round out the podium. Craig Corzine's second-degree burns would slot in at 325 for fourth, and Mark Cole and the Gambler would round out the top 5 with 323 feet. With the third-place finish in Session 5 and the second-place finish in Session number 1, Joe Eder would pick up the National Tractor Pulling Championship Unlimited ring for 2021. Congratulations, Joe Eder and Polar Air. Now, that wraps up all the action in Poletown, USA. What an amazing weekend it was, and an action-packed, fast-paced weekend that blew by in the blink of an eye. With that being in the books, as everyone tries to recover for this next coming weekend, we're going to give you a look at the upcoming NTPA schedule here. There will be a regional pull in Weyauwega, Wisconsin on Saturday, August 28th. But there will also be Grand National action in Wellington, Ohio for the Friday Night Spectacular, a Grand National event at Lorain County Fairgrounds. There's going to be 4 classes in action that night, starting with the light super stock. And while we get ready to bring you up to speed, we'll give you a look at the points and how they stack up as they head in to Wellington, Ohio. We'll start with the mini rods. And for the first time in a long time, there's a new leader atop the points. It is Chase Richardson in the vibrator, jumping over Ken Veeney in the funny little formal by 3 points. Richardson had a good run with 2 top 5s in Bowling Green, while Ken Veeney continued to struggle with snapping belts during both runs of the sessions in Bowling Green. That dropped him in the standings just a little bit, and with 40 different mini rods in the sessions, it made a big point swing. We'll see if Chase Richardson in the vibrator can hold on, or if Ken Veeney can get back to his consistent form in Wellington. Carbon Copy and Sam McCreary sit in 3rd place, just 8 points back of the lead and just 5 points back of Ken Veeney in 2nd. Bruce Law and Show No Mercy sit 1 point back of McCreary in the 4th spot and 9 points back of your leader, Chase Richardson. The 5th and final Enderley spot at the moment is held by Adam Bauer and Cowboy Up, a good 20 points back of the lead and a good 11 points back of Bruce Law in Show No Mercy. While the points lead might be tight up front and everyone's going to be watching that, there's going to be more eyes back here on the 5th and final spot between Adam Bauer, Adam Kester, who's 2 points back of Bauer in Beast of Burden, CJ Graysick's pile driver, who's at 234 points, just 5 points back of Bauer, and Dylan Bunninge's Phoenix, who sits 9 points back of Bauer. 9 points for 4 drivers for the 5th and final Enderley spot with 2 hooks to go, as they will conclude in Wauseon, Ohio 2 weeks from now. So the poll here in Wellington, Ohio this week and Wauseon could shake up not only the champion, but also who's going to get that 5th and final Enderley spot in the mini rod class. Another class that's still got quite a few hooks left, but will be in action in Wellington this weekend is the Pro Stock class. And as I mentioned in the recap through the sessions, Rob Russell is Mr. Consistent. He just keeps clicking off top five finishes, and it helped him once again here this weekend. He expanded his lead to 21 points over Mike Connie, who has put the Mac Nasty into 2nd place with 347 points compared to Rob Russell's 368. Julia Ray, who continues to have consistent runs alongside her father, Mike Connie, in the Mac Daddy tractor. Ray is sitting in 3rd with 338 points, just 9 points behind her dad and 30 points behind Rob Russell. Spencer Swanovec, who's having a heck of a season in the coal-fired John Deere, is sitting in 4th with 329 points. And then it's the rampage of Danny Smucker with 324 points, just 5 back behind Swanovec, holding down the 5th and final Enderley spot, 44 points behind Rob Russell. Now it's Bootlegger and Spencer's dad, Jason, who is sitting in the 6th spot, 15 points behind Danny Smucker. So with 5 hooks left to go, ending in Sandwich, Illinois, over the 2nd weekend in September, week before would be September 9th and 11th will be the hooks in Sandwich, Illinois. Will decide this Pro Stock class, but until then, 5 hooks left to go, a lot of competition. While it looks like Rob Russell might be running away with the top spot, we'll see if Jason Swanovec can make a bid to get into putting both of his tractors into underlay. Now, 2 classes will see their championship seasons come to an end here in Wellington this weekend. We'll start with the light super stock tractors, and it's the Detonator Black and Adam Spiegelberg sitting on top of the points by just 4 points over the Commander and Jason Hootman sitting at 257 points. Gunpowder and Lead, Marcus Wedelson's tractor sits in third at 244, 17 points back, and Hooter Scooter and Mark Hootman sit in the 4th spot at 238. Rounding out the top 5 and the 5th and final spot to Enderley will be the Ridge Runner of the Linvilles, sitting at 237 points back, just 1 point back of the Hooter Scooter, who jumped them this weekend in the points after Mark had 2 top 5 finishes. As I said, this ends in Wellington this weekend, so Adam Spiegelberg could wrap up a season championship here in the light superstock, or could Jason Hootman have a chance to ruin the championship run here for Spiegelberg? We'll see. 4 points, not a ton, but one last chance here for Jason Hootman. Both of them going to be heading to Enderley, but one going to be heading there with a championship. We'll find out Friday night in Wellington. And finally, the last Grand National class in action this Friday night, and that will be wrapping up their championship, will be the Unlimited class. Chuck Knapp continues his drive for 5 after having a solid session 1, winning in the pull-off. But Joe Eder and Polar Air has continued to stick toe-to-toe with Chuck Knapp as he put his 3rd win on the board along with Knapp. It is 1 point between the two. Both have had great passes. Both have had great seasons. But it's going to come down to one final hook to decide the championship here in the Unlimited class. Dave Richardson has thrown a wrench in things, jumping up to the 3rd spot, 19 points back at 230, with the foursome jumping over Adam Bauer, who is at 226.5 points in the cross-netted. And it's giddy-ups Ricky Rose sitting just a half point back of Adam Bauer at 226. Mark Cole sits on the outside right now of Enderley with 221 points aboard the Gambler. Now, this is going to be interesting to watch. There's going to be a lot of close points battles here. Could come down to a tiebreaker possibly, and it could be who's going to finish better here in Wellington. Chuck Knapp, 1 point advantage. They are both tied on wins. It may be a win in the session and a win for the championship between these two. Good battle. It's going to be 2 for the championship, while it might possibly be 3 for Enderley, fighting for 2 spots. Bauer just 5.5 points up over Mark Cole, and Ricky Rose just a half point back, holding down that 5th and final spot, just 5 points up. So that'll be another battle to watch, and it would be interesting to see if Adam Bauer does not make Enderley for some reason, because Ricky Rose and Mark Cole can gain a couple points on him here in Wellington after having such a good run at Chapel Hill and at Fort Recovery. It would be a definitely up and down season, with the downside coming at the end of the season for Adam Bauer. We'll see what happens in Wellington, and make sure if you can't make it out Friday night to Wellington for the Friday Night Spectacular, you can go to ntpa.tv and watch the live stream action. We will hope to see you in Wellington. Poll starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If not, we hope to see you on the live stream, and we'll get ready to crown 2 more champions here on the 2021 Grand National Championship Series with the National Tractor Pulling Association. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm Dom Santina signing off for John Dunlap. Hope to see him back in the studio next week, and look forward to more pulling action this weekend.